There is something unsettling about the things we almost remember, whether it be a cartoon that aired once at 3 a.m., then never showed up again, or maybe a puppet show that no one else seems to remember, but you swear was real. A broadcast that really wasn't quite right. Maybe you didn't experience it, but your best friend swore he did. Or maybe it was a post you saw once on Reddit. The thing is, when it comes to lost media, everyone seems to remember a version, or maybe that something happened, but no one ever really knows the truth. No one seems to have the evidence. One of these lost medias is actually a SpongeBob episode. And of course, when I say SpongeBob episode and lost media in the same sentence, I'm sure some of you think of, well, you know what I'm thinking of. However, the media I'm referring to isn't one of a lost episode. It's an event that occurred on July 25th, 2005. An episode of SpongeBob called Your Shoes Untied was airing on Nickelodeon that day, and it seems that it was hijacked by an unknown user or source. People who recall the event seem to remember various details about the episode, whether it be SpongeBob missing eyes, or text at the end of the episode, the screen going to black, music being distorted. No one seems to really agree on what the exact events occurred. However, there does seem to be one user that was able to record the event. This is that episode.
Hi, SpongeBob. Hi, SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
I can't have it. See, I still haven't tied my shoe.
SpongeBob. Shoes are looking good.
How big I like them. It's gigantic. Wow.
Is it new? Looks new.
Look at all the peanut butter inside.
It makes me want to go like this.
New Big Cup is a Reese's Lover's dream come true.
Introducing Reese's Big Cup.
Jerry, looks like it's that time of week again. Bath time.
After watching the episode, you could see how people became paranoid about what occurred or what was happening. You could even see how that could leave an impression in your mind. It's no wonder why TikTokers would create videos on a hijacking that occurred over 20 years ago. When something like that occurs, it's a lifetime experience. And the hundreds of comments on these TikTok videos from users who've experienced this event firsthand, it's hard to argue with the gravity and impact this episode left on everybody. However, dear viewer, there seems to be one key detail that people seem to look over. Something that is so dark and so hidden beneath this episode that people tend to overlook it. A secret so dark that once it's known, it changes everything that we know about this lost media. So if you do not wish to know the secret, now is your time to leave. This is your warning. If you're still around, good job, because the reality of the situation is, the secret is, that this lost media is fake.
Surprise, motherfucker!
It's not real. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't make this up. This seems to be an event that people seem to remember, but has never occurred. In fact, the earliest documentation of this event ever even occurring was on a Reddit post on r/analog horror by the user RedFox. And that post, sadly, is only 2 years old. So why is it that so many people seem to recall an event that never occurred? Some people think it's a Mandela effect. However, I think the reality is there are two factors at play. The first factor is people spreading the information. Whether they know it's true or false, it's hard to say, but ultimately, they spread it nonetheless. The second part is people taking that information at face value. I can ultimately say that I was a part of this group. In fact, I came into the video thinking that this event actually occurred. However, once I did my research into it and found out that it was all fake, my perception of this whole event changed. And after rewatching the footage, it's easy to understand why so many people came to believe that this was a true event. Whether it be the recording from the DVR, or maybe the static analog aspect to it, a lot of it seemed to make it seem real. However, in that same vein, it's easy to see how people can easily come to the conclusion that this is fake, especially towards the end of the video, where it kind of seems to almost jump the shark, because sometimes less is more. It's true that I was sad that this event was fake, but it also made me wonder, how can you convince thousands of people an event occurred when it never really happened? Could it be possible that there are other events out there that never really occurred but people still believe to this day to be true? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And if you know of an event that people seem to remember but never actually happened, let me know as well. And with that, skeleton crew, I take my leave. Be safe, be spooky, and remember, don't stare at the abyss too long, because you never know what stares back.